I want to talk about a question that you are going to think about and maybe be asked quite a bit as an admin and as a trainer or a consultant. And the question is, can you change the behavior of your users? I'm here to tell you that you can change the behavior of your users, to a certain extent. There are some individuals who, no matter how hard you try to get them to change how they do something, they're just not going to do it. That's just in their nature. But let's not talk about them. Let's talk about these other folks that we can have an impact and help change the behavior. I want to start off by sharing a personal example, and it's a little bit embarrassing. It was about a problem I had watching TV. During the workday, I did my job. I'd come home and I have 2 children, so I'd help out with them, get them ready for bed and whatever. And then after it was all said and done, I lived in a 2-bedroom apartment, and there was just basically one big room, the family room, living room, dining room, everything room. And there was a TV, and it just sat right there in front of me if I sat on the couch. And I had this problem where when I had a spare moment, I would sit down and just turn the TV on. And I would have ESPN or something running in the background. I didn't like that I did this all the time, and I wanted to stop, but I found it kind of difficult. I guess I was addicted. So to change my behavior, I realized I had to change my environment. So what I did was canceled our cable. And guess what? The number of times that I watched television and watched ESPN decreased significantly. What happened was I made it more difficult to do this behavior that I wanted to stop. And that's really the key. This is a great quote from the book Switch, How to Change Things When Change is Hard. And that's by Chip Heath and Dan Heath. It says, tweaking the environment is about making the right behavior a little bit easier and the wrong behaviors a little bit harder. One of the keys that is going to help you change user behavior is to tweak the environment. Now I want to talk about a story that comes from the book Switch. There was a research study about why college students did or did not donate food to a canned food drive for charity. And the researchers knew some students would be more charitable and generous than others and would be more inclined to donate food. The researchers wondered, can we alter the situation so that jerks give too? First, to distinguish saints from jerks, they polled all the students in a particular dorm, asking them to assess which of their dorm mates, out of roughly 100, were most likely and least likely to make a donation. Once they compiled those rankings, they had a pretty good idea of which students were charitable or uncharitable types. Then they altered the path. Some students received a basic letter announcing the launch of a food drive the following week and asking them to bring canned food to a booth on Tresidder Plaza. Other students received a more detailed letter which included a map to the precise spot, a request for a can of beans, and a suggestion that they think about a time they'd ordinarily be near Tresidder Plaza so they wouldn't have to go out of their way to get there. The 2 letters were randomly sent to the saints and the jerks. And a week later, after the food drive was over, the researchers had a precise list of who had given food and who hadn't. Students who received the basic letter were not very generous. Only 8% of the saints donated, and not a single one of the jerks. Then came the shock. Students who received the more detailed letter were substantially more charitable. 42% of the saints donated, and so did 25% of the jerks. The researchers got 25% of the worst individuals in the dorm to donate simply by smoothing the path a bit. What's more, the path wasn't changed in any dramatic way. The letter just gave moderately more concrete instructions. What looks like a people problem is often a situation problem. And no matter what your role is, you've got some control over the situation. So as a trainer, as an admin, can you somehow tweak your environment to make it easier for users to perform the action you want them to perform? And can you change some of their behavior? Now, one of the ways that we're talking about this week is to create great job aids. Sometimes we give instructions and they're not very clear, very similar to the initial letter that those dorm students received. But you can create job aids that are very detailed, very specific, and very helpful, and you can improve people's behavior by making it clear what they're supposed to do. So during your next onboarding session, create some job aids that show users exactly what you want them to do, and make those job aids available to them in an easy to find location. It's not that difficult, but it could have a huge impact.